Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vijupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Mati Svangres et si Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vijupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Mati Svangres Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath, Shyama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Srimati Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madam Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai, Gaura Premanandi, all glories to the Sambhavatis, all glories to the Sambhavatis, all glories to the Sambhavatis, all glories to Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pacharine, Nirvesesha Sunnavadi Pastyata Satarine. You can put up. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, chapter 23, sloka number 21. Deham vipanna akila chetana adikam patyuhu prithivyaha daitasya cha atmanaha alakshya kinchit cha vilapya sa sati chitam ata aropayat adri sanuni. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Deham vipanna khila chetanadikam patyu prithivya daitasya chatmanaha alaksha kinchit cha vilapya sasati chita mataro payada drisanuni. Deham vipanna khila chetanadikam patyu prithivya chatmanaha alaksha kinchit chavilapya sasati chitamatharopayadadrisanuni Deham vipanna khila chetanadikam patyu prithivya chatmanaha alaksha kinchit chavilapya sasati chitamatharopayadadrisanuni Vaishnavis, Deham, body, Vipanna, completely failing, Akhila, all, Chetana, feeling, Adikam, symptoms, Patyuhu, of her husband, Pridivyaha, the world, Daitasya, of the merciful, Cha Atmanaha, also of herself, Alaksha, by seeing Kinchit, very little, Cha, and Vilapya, lamenting, Sa, she, Sati, the chaste, Chitam, unto the fire, Ata, now, Aropayat, placed, Adri, hill, Sanuni, on the top. Translation: When Queen Archie saw that her husband, who had been so merciful to her and the earth, no longer showed symptoms of life, she lamented for a little while and then built a fiery pyre on top of a hill and placed the body of her husband on it. Please repeat. When Queen Archie saw that her husband, who had been so merciful to her and the earth, no longer showed symptoms of life, she lamented for a little while and then built a fiery pyre on top of a hill and placed the body of her husband on it. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After seeing all the life symptoms of her husband stop, the queen lamented for a while The word kinchit means for a little while. The queen was completely aware that her husband was not dead, although the symptoms of life, action, intelligence, and sense perception had ceased. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 13th sloka, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yaumanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatrannamuhyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. When a living entity transfers from one body to another, a process generally known as death, a sane man does not lament, for he knows that the living entity is not dead, but is simply transferred from one body to another. The queen should have been afraid of being alone in the forest with the body of her husband, but since she was a great wife of a great personality, she lamented for a while, but immediately understood that she had many duties to perform. Thus, instead of wasting her time in lamentation, she immediately prepared a fiery pyre on top of a hill and then placed the body of her husband on it to be burnt. Maharaj Prithu is described here as Daita, for not only was he the king of the earth, but he treated the earth as his protected child. Similarly, he protected his wife also. It was the duty of the king to give protection to everyone, especially to the earth or land which he ruled, as well as the citizens and his family members. Since Prithu Maharaj was a perfect king, he gave protection to everyone, and therefore he is described here as Daita. Om Jnana Timilandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Maharaj Prithu already went back to Godhead, or is on his way. He already left his body, as described in the earlier sloka, by the strength of his yoga practice. In the 8th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes to Arjuna the various timings by which we can leave one's body. And if we are practicing yoga as in the Satya Yuga they were doing, they could leave their body at an auspicious time, that is, at the light going to the sun planet and during the waxing fortnight of the moon, and during some auspicious time in the daytime. In this way, he'll be accompanied by a divine personality, and he'll be able to find his way going to the sun and can go further if possible. But those who leave their body during the night time and during the waning fortnight of the moon at an inauspicious moment, then they may go to the moon planet, but from the moon planet they have to come down. So this is the path described in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. In the commentary on these slokas, it is explained that Srila Prabhupada explains very emphatically that the devotees of the Lord who are engaged in devotional service need not worry about when, under which circumstances, they are going to leave their body. Anytime, any day, night or day, they need not worry because they have spent their life in the service of the Lord. They are living the body in Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy names of the Lord, or maybe in association with other devotees. So in this way, the passing of the soul is very auspicious. Lord Krishna is taking care of such a soul who is devoted to him. There is no question of wrong time. So Srila Prabhupada quotes in this purport that the question of death is something very natural. Just as naturally, while living in this body, we have gone through different stages. What this body is now is not the same body I had many, many years ago. All the constituents of this body have changed. All the cells, all the blood corpuscles, and all the different ingredients of this body have come and gone many times. So we cannot say that we are living in the same body as before. I am the same person as I was many years ago. Those who identify with the body, considering the body to be the self, they should understand that the body is different from one time to the next. And therefore, it is wrong to identify oneself with the body. It is not logical, it is not scientific. Similarly, as Srila Prabhupada used to give this argument when there was some conversation about the topic that as you had many different bodies in this lifetime, similarly, at the time of death, then you simply take a new body. That is nothing special. And quoting from Bhagavad Gita, the same sloka, Dehinosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatra namuhyati. Those who are intelligent, those who are well educated, that is the difference between today's education and the former education in the Vedic times. The Vedic education is, first of all, try to understand what is the relationship between body and the soul and the super soul. That is the basic constituent of education. Kaumara charat pragyo dharmam bhagavatamiha. From the very beginning of life, the age of 5, one should know this fundamental knowledge of body, soul, and super soul. Therefore, one can develop the qualities of dhira. Dhira means intelligent, one who is not bewildered in any circumstance. Even at the time of death, one shall not be bewildered. He will understand, now is the time I will acquire a new body, whatever it is, according to my past activities, and he will try to situate himself, fix his mind properly on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. That is the best way of living the body. Otherwise, according to the natural condition, either sattvagun, rajagun, tamagun, one will depart from this body and go upwards or stay here or go down according to the consciousness. So that is very important. The art of dying is the most essential part of education. Otherwise, we may try to live very comfortably and acquire all types of material knowledge, but at a critical time, as Prabhupada quotes from the Bengali proverb, that whatever knowledge we have accumulated in this life will be tested at the time of death. Therefore, we should know what is death and how to cross over this moment of death, going to the next, just like we go from one room to another room. The situation may be a little different, but it is not difficult. One who has been trained, he can go from one room to another room. Where is the problem? Similarly, one step at a time. Then put the foot forward, another step. So step by step, that we are learning, we know how to do this. Then why should we not know also how to enter, how to go to the next destination at the time of death? That is the fundamental knowledge that everybody should know. We should meditate upon this, because death may come at any time. There is no guarantee that we are destined to live 70, 80, 90, 100 years. We may also pass away at 10, 20, 30. There is no guarantee. Therefore, one should know this, how to cross over the death early in life. So as a child goes to school at the age of 5, similarly, spiritual knowledge should be taught. Therefore, Prabhupada established a Gurukul for the young children so that they may be taught this great science, spiritual science as described in Bhagavad Gita. In the purport to this sloka from Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada writes that since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, therefore rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So that is very important knowledge, which Arjuna had forgotten, apparently, being put into illusion by Lord Krishna himself. As well, Arjuna, being from a great Kshatriya family, certainly knew the process of death. But in order to make an example for the mankind at large, Arjuna became perplexed and he became despondent and he started to lament and he gave up his duty. He fell down and he is asking from Lord Krishna, "Please, Lord Krishna, please explain to me. I cannot understand. I'm bewildered. I'm surrendering myself to you. Shadi mam tvam prabannam, sishyasteham. You become my guru, spiritual master. So then I'll be able to understand what's happening here. Otherwise, at every moment, we may become bewildered if we are not conversant with the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita." Here in this description, Archie, the chaste wife of Prithu Maharaj, is not bewildered. She is properly trained in the spiritual knowledge, and she understands that now her husband has passed away from his body. And she is lamenting for a little while, kinchit, as described here, kinchit vilapya. Not so much, a little while. That, oh, my husband is gone, so what shall I do now? And so on. But then she understands also, she does not forget her duty. Her duty is to serve the husband. As throughout his life, throughout her life, she served Prithu Maharaj as a chaste wife. Similarly, when the husband passes away in this manner, then she also understands. Now she has also some duty to accomplish. Especially, nobody else is there. She is alone in the forest, and the body is lying there. It needs some attention. So what is the attention? What is the duty? Your duty is next sanskara. Just like we are going through life and performing different sanskara. 10 sanskara are there. From the beginning, Garbhadhan sanskar, that is the first one. In this way, at the time of death also, there is a sanskar. And what is that? To burn the body. That is most important. The body should not lie unattended. It should, as soon as possible, before the next sunrise, it should be given to the fire. And it is a purification of the body. Otherwise, if it is left to itself, it will start to decompose and create impurity for all surrounding atmosphere. So the body is meant to be purified in that manner by burning it. And Archie knows very well, she is properly trained, and she is lighting a fire at the top of a hill, and she is taking her husband, although she is not strong, she has done tapasya, she is physically weak, but she has sufficient determination and devotion to do this sanskar for her husband. In this way, she carries her husband's body to the funeral pyre, and in this way, the body is burning. So that will be one step. And next step, that will be seen in the next slokas, what she will do next. So there are different methods of getting rid of the dead body, but this is the best way. The Vedic way is to burn the body. So there will not be any contamination. Not only the body will be purified, it will turn into ashes. Ashes can be distributed in the holy rivers. So those who are family members may take some of the ashes. They'll come back the next morning, take ashes, and take them to Kasi, immerse in the Ganga, or they go to the ocean, merge into the ocean. So that is the way of performing the last rites, funeral rite for family member. Others, they may not do that. They may wait for a few days, and after a week or so, they may bury the body. But that is not a very good system. Better to burn the body at the earliest. That is purifying everybody. There are others, famous personalities, they have not undergone even the burial. Like in Russia, you have this dictator, Lenin, who passed away at the beginning of 20th century. And they didn't bury his body after he passed away. They kept his body, put some ointment and some chemicals, and they put in a glass cage, and they kept it in the capital city so that everyone can come and see the Lenin. They are thinking, oh, I have not seen Lenin when he was alive. Now I can see him when he's dead. So there's a long queue, and everybody has opportunity to see the former dictator. So that is ignorance, simply tamasic practice. There is nothing good in doing so. It is just a political maneuver to keep people under your grip. And I've seen other case, Aurobindo, near Pondicherry, he was also kept like this. And people are coming and do parikrama, and they think that they take blessing from Aurobindo in this manner. So this may be attractive to some people, but in the old times also, in the Egyptian royal family, they would not burn or they would not bury the bodies. They would anoint the body with some chemical, and in this way keep the body without any deterioration. In mummies, they called it mummy, pharaoh. These pharaoh, after their deaths, were kept in a chamber. They will lock the chamber, and the pharaoh is kept there for hundreds and thousands of years. And they are thinking that royal family is still going on. So that is out of identification with the body. They are thinking that the royal family is still alive, and therefore the tradition and the culture, the history is going on as before. They don't consider that death is a natural process. Lord Krishna says that I am death, and at the time of death, I take away everything. Srila Prabhupada says that those who cannot see Krishna in their lifetime, they can see Krishna at the time of death. Death is also another feature of Krishna. So if you cannot see Krishna face to face, or even in the temple, if you cannot come to temple, have darshan of Lord Krishna, if you are not Krishna conscious as when you are living, then at the time of death, then you will understand. This is the time. Kalosmi, Krishna says, Kalosmi, Sarvakrit, Sarvakrit. I'm the ultimate destroyer. So that is a final realization, but this is not the proper realization. We have to understand Krishna from the very beginning. And by studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can understand, be fixed in Krishna consciousness, and not be bewildered at the time of death. I remember when I was a young boy, maybe 10 years, at one morning, my family members, they gathered all together, started to cry like anything. So I was wondering why everybody is crying. So they told me, your maternal grandmother your grandmother has passed away. So everybody is crying. So I was thinking what to do. Shall I cry? I was not inclined to cry. I was thinking, what is this? They are not children, they are grown up. No, my parents and others. Why they are crying for that? Everybody is dying at one time or another. Why should we cry? So I tried to cry, but no, tears were not coming. I was just standing there and waiting for time, how long it will take for this crying ceremony. So the time of death is already fixed as we are taking birth. So there is also a time for death that is already calculated. That is already part of our fate. There is no question of changing anything. So the scientists nowadays, they may try to prolong life, but they cannot. They cannot prolong life. On the contrary, they are also very busy, mostly, to manufacture deadly weapons, atomic nuclear weapons that accelerate the death process. By using these deadly weapons, they make the life shorter. They cannot extend the duration of life, but they can reduce it. And for that, they are spending a lot of money. So Archie is the ideal in all respects, from the material viewpoint, from the spiritual viewpoint. She is perfectly educated, and as Prithu Maharaj was the ideal king, so Archie is the ideal queen, knowing perfectly well what to do for the welfare of her husband and the welfare of the entire population. As the husband is described as the word used here, Daita, he is very dear to earth and to the people in general, including the queen herself. So he was very kind, very compassionate, and throughout his life he did everything in his capacity to remove suffering, to enlighten everybody, to see that everybody is engaged in proper dharma and elevation of consciousness. That was the Prithu Maharaj life, exemplary life as a king. So for such a great king, Archie is also doing the duty of a perfect wife, burning the body of her husband and then taking the next step that will be seen afterwards. Any other questions or comments? The same Dhira. So any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a Dhira, or more sober man or woman. Such a man or woman is never deluded by the change of bodies. So this is a practical example here, Archie. She does not lament for long. She immediately understands what is her next duty, and she performs her next duty perfectly as a perfectly enlightened woman and wife. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.